In 1933, a man by the name of G. Warren Shufelt, a mining engineer from Los Angeles, California, had a bold claim to make. He had invented a revolutionary new device that could survey underground for valuable resources like oil, gold, and even subterranean cave and cavern systems. He called it the radio X-ray machine, and it was unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. The machine looked like a pendulum suspended in a cylindrical glass case, which was placed inside a black box. According to one description, a plummet attached to a copper wire held by the engineer sways continually. Shufelt claimed that his machine could use radio X-rays to analyze the chemical, electrical, and physical properties of matter at great depths and up to several miles away. He never really explained how it all worked, but he assured everyone that it was based on a new discovered scientific principle. Greatly excited by the possibilities of this new invention, Shufelt began demonstrating his machine to investors and scientists in the area. He claimed that his machine had already discovered a vast, extensive network of underground tunnels and chambers beneath that very city of Los Angeles, which he believed belonged to house ancient secrets and potentially tons of treasure and artifacts. It was then that Shufelt, a curious man with a passion for exploration, began his quest for gold and other valuable treasures in the bustling city of LA. Armed with a mysterious device that he believed could detect precious materials, he combed through various parts of the city, hoping to strike it rich. He ventured beneath the heart of downtown Los Angeles, and he stumbled upon something truly remarkable. As he scanned the area with his device, he was astounded to find readings of a vast underground tunnel system stretching all the way from Mount Washington to Santa Monica Bay. What's more, the tunnels were not simply haphazardly arranged, but were meticulously and thoughtfully structured, complete with various rooms and large chambers of all kinds. Shufelt estimated that this vast labyrinth was large enough to comfortably house at least 5,000 people, if not more. But that wasn't even the most exciting part. Shufelt continued to explore and see, and he picked up on readings that indicated the presence of large amounts of gold hidden below in these passageways. Incredibly intrigued by this discovery, he set out to create a secret map of this now newfound underground world and began to try and make sense of what he had found. But he was still unsure of why there was a large labyrinth underneath Los Angeles. I knew I was over a pattern of tunnels, and I had mapped out the course of the tunnels, the position of large rooms scattered along the tunnel route, as well as the position of deposits of gold, but I couldn't understand the meaning of it. My radio X-ray pictures of tunnels and rooms which are subsurface voids, and of gold pictures with perfect corners, sides, and ends are scientific proof of their existence. However, the legendary story must remain speculative until unearthed by excavation. But before he truly started his excavation process, he wanted to seek out the wisdom of an old Hopi native leader known as Chief Little Greenleaf. Now, he had heard that Chief Little Greenleaf knew well about the ancient tunnel system and hoped he could provide some answers to the questions that had been weighing so heavily on his mind. Upon reaching Chief Little Greenleaf's village, he was welcomed with open arms and a warm fire, and after sharing a meal and some stories, he finally broached the subject of the ancient tunnel system. And after the chief told him all the wonders and artifacts that could lay beneath the city of Los Angeles, he was ecstatic and could not wait to prove it to the entirety of the world. In fact, Shufelt wasted no time and immediately began making plans to excavate the site. He was granted permission by the County Board of Supervisors to actually drill down into the depths of 1,000 feet, and he wasted no time in starting his excavation. So on On February of 1934, Shufelt and his team began digging at a vacant lot on North Hill Street, right above what he believed to be a treasure room full of gold. Now, the city had agreed to give him half of any treasure that was found, which only fueled his enthusiasm. And because at the time of 1934, this was pretty remarkable news, so the media was soon abuzz with the news of this incredible discovery, the story of an ancient lost civilization, hidden treasure, full of gold, and who knows what else. This was all far too sensational to ignore. And as the excavation continued, it became a media circus, the public eagerly watching the progress. And they drilled and they drilled and they drilled and they dug deeper and deeper and deeper into the earth. And at 300 feet down, they encountered an abundance of mud, which therefore made these shafts unstable and threatened to collapse the tunnel. And as a result, they were forced to abort the excavation. And sadly, nothing of the underground city or its treasures were ever found. Now, despite the disappointing outcome, the legend of the underground city lived on for quite some time. But interest in the excavation soon fizzled out, and Schufeltz ran out of money and bankrupted himself. He eventually kind of just faded off and disappeared, and he would eventually pass away in North Hollywood in 1957. He died a poor man with no money. Over the years, the X-ray machine that he supposedly created and the map that he used to discover this underground labyrinth all just seemed to vanish without a trace, leaving no tangible evidence of this incredible discovery. Now, here's the twist. When Shufelt consulted with Chief Greenleaf, to his surprise, Chief Little Greenleaf began to weave quite the outlandish tale. He spoke of a lost civilization of people descended from the Mayans, who he called the lizard people. They supposedly worshipped the lizard as a symbol of a long life and lived all along the Pacific coast. This lost civilization was apparently extremely technologically and intellectually advanced, far beyond their time. They had all the manner of wondrous inventions and machines and incalculable wealth from gold and other materials. But their reign came to an end when, supposedly, an enormous meteor shower crashed down and rained on the Earth roughly 5,000 years ago that nearly wiped out the entire race of these beings. Now, as he listened to Chief Little Greenleaf's story, he couldn't help but wonder if there was any truth to this. I mean, surely you don't just have an elaborate, organized tunnel systems with rooms for nothing. Could it be that the ancient tunnel system was somehow connected to this lost civilization? The mysterious tale of the survivors of a fiery catastrophe. According to him, these beings had all retreated to a series of underground cities that were carved into the earth using a secret chemical solution that could melt bedrock. These cities were allegedly reinforced using an unknown form of advanced concrete and were stocked with an abundance of supplies. But who were these inhabitants of these underground cities, you may ask? They were none other than the lizard people, a race of creatures rumored to have once inhabited the surface world. These beings had took all their gold and possessions and stowed them away, waiting for the safe time to resurface. What's more, there were not just one, but 3 underground cities built in the supposed shape of a lizard. One located under Los Angeles, another beneath Mount Shasta, and a third whose location was unknown. But the city under Los Angeles was said to be the largest and the capital of the 3. Among the many rooms of this underground city was a particularly important one, which Shufelt named the Key Room. Legend has it that this room held 37 massive slabs of gold, each measuring 4 feet long and 14 inches wide. But what was even more intriguing was the belief that in this room held the complete records of the origins of the human race. The radio X-ray has revealed the location of one of 3 lost cities on the Pacific coast. The local one having been dug by the lizard people after the Great Catastrophe, which occurred about 5,000 years ago. This legendary catastrophe was in the form of a huge tongue of fire which came out of the southwest, destroying all life in its path, the path being several hundred miles wide. The city underground was dug as a means of escaping future fires. Large rooms in the domes of the hills above the city of Labyrinths housed 1,000 families in the manner of tall buildings and imperishable food supplies of the herb variety were stored in the catacombs to provide sustenance for the lizard folk for great lengths of time. It's speculated by some that he was encroaching into very dangerous conspiratorial territory by discovering this reptilian city. So his device, his map, and anything about him pretty much just vanished and was quickly swept under the rug as a failure to the scientific community. Others simply speculate that he just struck bad luck with the mud and was never able to discover what really lurks beneath Los Angeles. And so the mystery of the lost city of the reptilians remains just that, a mystery. In October of 1972, Alaska was carrying some of the most prominent politicians of the time: House Majority Leader Hale Boggs, Representative Nick, their aide Russell Brown, and their Bush pilot Don Johns. The Cessna 310 aircraft they were on vanished mysteriously in the region, leaving no trace of their whereabouts. The news of their disappearance spread like wildfire and sparked an intense search that lasted for 39 days. Over 400 aircraft, including the Advanced Air Force SR-71 and dozens of boats, including 12 from the Coast Guard, were all involved in search efforts. But everything proved completely fruitless, as there was no evidence of the missing men or plane. Because nothing was ever found, all the men were declared dead, and the mysterious disappearance of such prestigious public figures sparked a mass of conspiracy theories, with some people claiming that the crash had been orchestrated, or at least was covered up at the time by the head of the FBI, who was J. Edgar Hoover. Many speculated that it was because he had intense power struggles between him and Boggs. Even now in 2023, there's been no trace of this plane or these people ever found. It's no secret that Alaska has been known as one of the most remote, wildest, and rugged places in the entirety of the West. I mean, it's just a vast, remote expanse of wilderness teeming with all manner of dangers, and that alone has drawn adventurers and thrill seekers for decades. But this beauty comes with a dark side. Alaska has more annual missing person reports than anywhere else in the country, twice the national average, actually. And what's more, it also has the highest number of missing people who are never found. In 2007, for example, 2,833 people were reported missing in Alaska alone. To put this into perspective, the state's population at the time was around 670,000. So that means that for roughly every 1,000 people, 4 of them were reported missing. That amount alone is so high that it puzzles all authorities and intrigues the public. But the reasons behind Alaska's high number of missing persons are many. I mean, for starters, the state has well over 57 million acres of federally designated wilderness, more than half of the entire nation's total. And that's not even counting the vast areas of unprotected land that are even more remote and untouched by humans. Much of the landscape is harsh and full of dangers, from treacherous terrain to horrible plummeting temperatures, and of course wild animals like bear and such, and even thousands of active volcanoes. When you put that into perspective, it's really no wonder so many people find themselves in the throes of danger or become lost or die or are never found. Despite efforts to increase safety measures and raise awareness, Alaska still continues to struggle with a high number of missing persons each and every year. But what if I told you there was another part of this mystery, one that has a much darker twist? Enter the Alaskan Triangle. The Alaskan Triangle is a place of mystery and danger, a vast and sprawling section of the state that stretches from the southeast region near Juneau and all the way to the north to the Barrow Mountain Range, and of course with Anchorage sitting right in the middle. Within this zone lies a wilderness of epic proportions, sprawling forest, craggy mountain peaks, and desolate, barren tundra. This triangle has become infamous for the high number of people who go missing nearly every year simply without a trace. They just vanish as if they have been swallowed up by the earth, leaving behind no clues or evidence of their whereabouts. And no, it's not just stupid tourists who venture off and who are not wood smart, it's locals, many of which have also disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Adding to this mystery, many planes have also disappeared or crashed in this region without any apparent explanation. In fact, since 1988, an astounding 16,000 people have vanished in the so-called Alaska Triangle alone, never to be heard or seen again. If you talk to some of the natives in the region, they'll tell you stories of the area's dark history, that the land has been associated with evil and evil spirits for as long as they can remember, and one notorious entity reigns supreme in their tale: the Kushtaka. According to some native lore and legends, the Kushtaka is a shape-shifting demon that resembles a cross between a man and an otter. The creature has been known to lure unsuspecting people to their doom, especially those who have lost their way in the vast, empty wilderness. The natives of Alaska warn people that encountering this thing is a sure sign of impending doom that one should avoid at all costs. But a much more plausible reason is the vortex of energy that exist in certain parts of the world, known as what many refer to as vile vortices. These are essentially areas with extreme electric, magnetic, and electromagnetic anomalies that have puzzled scientists for decades. But it was American researcher and cryptozoologist Ivan T. Sanderson who first postulated their existence. Sanderson was a believer that these energy vortexes, also known more commonly as ley lines, are essentially subterranean electromagnetic currents that can cause strange and unexplainable phenomena. His claim was that there were multiple of these vortexes all around the world, including the infamous Bermuda Triangle, which we all know. But the Alaskan Triangle is located in the northernmost state of the United States and is also considered by some the worst. And this particular triangle alone exhibits strange phenomena like unexplained disappearances of aircraft and ships, as well as sightings of UFOs and other strange lights and anomalies. Now, according to Sanderson, these vortexes also have a profound effect on the human consciousness. People have been reported to experience an altered state of mind, a different dimension, if you will. In fact, famous places like Stonehenge and the pyramids in Egypt were all speculated to be built on top of these vortexes. And there's a lot of legends surrounding it. I mean, some speculate that they're responsible for creating all the strange and unexplained phenomenon in the world. Sometimes natives have talked about having these miraculous visions and the ability to heal and the sudden burst of creativity and profound realizations. These vortexes are speculated to have a powerful impact on the human mind as well as the physical body. There are quite a few people that believe that by visiting these vortexes, they can actually tap into their higher selves and experience a heightened sense of spirituality. Of course, there's a dark side to these vortexes as well. People have reported feeling disoriented, confused, and even hallucinating both visually and auditorily. But it's not just humans that have been affected by the vortexes either. Delicate electrical instrumentation has been said to malfunction in these areas, and it's quite common actually. There are some that even speculate that these areas are actually spiritual dimensions and gateways to other realms. Alaska alone is covered with a large concentration of magnetic anomalies, some of which can disrupt compasses to the point that they are as much as 30 degrees off. Wow. In addition, while this area does produce unusual anomalies and strange spikes of electromagnetic activity, could these have anything to do with the disappearances of the high-profile figures? While the whole thing is very interesting, it seems to just be that, a mysterious phenomenon that no one has answers to. Unfortunately, besides unusual electromagnetic readings among other things that I've listed, there's been no definitive or documented proof of an actual vortex happening. The Alaskan Triangle remains a mystery. More importantly, I want to know what you guys think. Is there really a hidden labyrinth of tunnels and rooms underneath Los Angeles right now? Or was the whole thing a farce? Did the Alaskan Triangle have any part to play in the disappearance of these high, prolific people? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I would love to know your thoughts. And if you guys enjoyed today's episode, be sure to go ahead and smack that like and subscribe button for more content just like this. And as always, guys, I love you all. Keep an open mind, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.